Why you gotta do this to me? You pees out the door and he's like, I'm gonna give him a vagina. I'm gonna put the vagina right over the boobs. Hey, what's up you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on the Daily Grind, we are back as promised with finalized builds for the Euphona Prime, as well as Banshee Prime, and a little bit of fashion frame splashed into boot. Now, let's just jump straight into the Euphona Prime. This is kind of a little bit of a follow-up from yesterday's video. I went ahead and put a little bit more forma into it. As you can see, I added like a dash and a V, something along those lines. I added two more. Now, I have two different builds for you, the crit-based build and then the status-based build, and I want to show you how they perform, because I did get a little bit of heat yesterday for using corrosive on an alloyed armored target, but there's some reasoning behind that. But let's go ahead and show this off. So we're gonna start in here. Now, one of the big reasons that I usually test corrosive-based weapons, you know, kind of like armor shredding weapons on alloyed armored units, is mainly because I don't like to give it the elemental advantage. I want to know that it's going to work on pretty much every single armor type. So what I'm actually going to show you here is a little bit of a realistic depiction, because what tends to happen when we are in the simulacrum, we pull out one enemy and we want to know how to kill that enemy the best. However, let's be real, we're not just going to be sitting in a mission fighting corrupted bombards and nothing else. We're not going to be just going up against solely alloy armored units. So I wanted to show you how your radiation variation performs in a more realistic scenario. Let's just put it like that. You know, don't want to say shit. Now, of course, this time I used Prime Chamber. When I was responding in the comments, I was only using the 90% mods, but I was actually able to slot this in and not hurt the build. Now, clearly, this thing is doing some work on this corrupted bombard. If I had gotten better headshots off of that, to be honest with you, I probably could have gotten that with one left in the clip. Now, when it comes to heavy gunners, however, this is going to be a little bit more ugly, because of the fact that they've got such high armor value and we're not getting any armor shredding whatsoever, even though I am going specifically for headshots. And by the way, this build contains hydraulic crosshairs, which isn't necessarily what I would bring in, but I figured it looked better on camera. And remember, there's some shit that looks better in the simulacrum as opposed to looks better in actual in-game. I would probably bring sharpened bullets instead. But as you can see here, I'm lining up headshot after headshot, or at least I feel like, ooh, I'm lining up headshot after headshot. And if we pay attention to my max ammo, I am currently at, I've only got 5 in reserve, and I've only got 1 left in the clip. And this guy still isn't dead. And I'm solely going after headshots. I'm solely, come on. Are you kidding me? Literally, I don't have enough left to kill him. So that's why I was a little bit adamant about the fact that I preferred the shotgun variant. And that's mainly because of the fact that the shotgun variant you can have a little bit more flexibility on. So this is my finalized shotgun build. As you can see, it is using corrosive and blast. Now, the main reason I'm using corrosive and blast as opposed to radiation and viral is this doesn't have, even though I call it the Tigris Prime of secondaries, legitimately its IPS spread does not have, at least I was looking at it and I was like, I feel like the Tigris Prime is more like 90% slashing, as opposed to this, which looks like to be about like 75-80%. So you don't get as good like slash potency and all of the procs as the other ones. Plus, here's the other funny thing. You know how I always say, if you're a friend of a Loki and they're invisible, don't fucking stand next to them. That's mainly because of the fact that whenever I irradiated these guys, what ended up happening with it was mainly that they would start attacking each other, and I would end up getting fucked, because I would be like caught out and I'm like, no, leave me alone, I don't want it, I don't want it at all. Now, as you can tell right here, the one thing that irritates me the most about Blast is because of the fact that you can't get consistent headshots, and it makes my heart cry. But that leaves us with 32 as opposed to absolute 0, so you get more flexibility out of the shotgun build. Honestly, the way that I have it bound is to the middle mouse wheel, so it feels a little bit awkward personally, but maybe you've got it in a little bit of a better place. Now, we're going to go ahead and move on to the 3 Banshee builds. I actually experimented with one last night, and I don't know if I changed something that made it feel a shit ton better, but I don't know, I'm happy with it. But I'm going to get out of the Simulacrum because the Simulacrum makes colors look kind of ugly. So we're going to pop back to the ship, and I will show you my finalized colors for Banshee Prime. It's never over. It's never over. Alright, so Future Rob here with yet another build for the Euphona Prime. So I was actually going through and checking comments, and this build kind of came across. Now, I'll be honest, I playtested it. It's not my favorite of the bunch. It's not maximizing, you know, either one of the stats and making it super, super powerful. But one of the cool things that I thought about this particular build, which actually tosses Lethal Torrent and replaces that with Prime Target Cracker, is the fact that it kind of blends the 2 builds together. It's like one of the few hybrid builds that I feel really embraces the spirit of the weapon. And I know you guys have heard me use that phrase before, the spirit of the weapon. And the fact is the Euphona Prime, you know, can do things really, really well with its crit side and can also be a very, very potent status weapon. So I figured far be it for me to kind of like deprive you guys of this information, and I figured I'd put this build in your hands and let you guys see exactly how you feel about it. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spawn some enemies so you can see how it performs. Now clearly on, you know, each individual part of it is not going to perform quite as well as the other previous version. Why did we turn around? Why? Why do you feel the need to turn around? One of the biggest things that I'm not super fond of with this is the fire rate. Really, like, you wouldn't think that 60% fire rate is that much, but it really definitely feels like it. So that was about 2 clips right there. And this, just don't turn around. There you go. That's another clip. So that actually performs very similarly to the main variant. But I figured, you know, it's nice because it kind of lets you flip-flop between the 2. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too. It's just not as great of a cake, but I figured I will let you decide that for yourselves and toss this build into your hands. I'll probably be playing around with it a little bit more just to see if, you know, the loss in fire rate and multi-shot really kill me that much. But there you go. I'll go ahead and send it back to past Rob. Alrighty, so this is my finalized look for Banshee Prime. I actually have 2 different looks that I want to show you guys, but this is the first one. I did a lot of toying around with it, and can we pause real fast? Can we pause? Does she have a vagina on her chest? Is that a vagine that they've got hiding there? Look at this. Labial folds. We've got multiple labial folds. What is this? A clitoral hood? Mickey! Why you gotta do this to me? You pees out the door and he's like, I'm gonna give him a vagina. I'm gonna put the vagina right over the boobs. And I'm like, because as I was laying in the sigil, I was like, holy shit. This is like legitimately a vagine. Just right up, all up on her chest. And now I can never see it. Now I can never unsee it. I just like I'm walking around with Banshee who's got a vagina on her chest. Okay, cool. Fan-fucking-tastic. But yeah, so this is the current finalized look. Let's go over this real fast. The other one was a little bit darker, and I kind of wanted to make her one of the lighter base primes. However, the second variant that I did went a little bit darker and swapped, I believe I swapped energy color for like accent color, something along those lines. Just in case. And as you guys know, all of my primes are pretty fucking boring. I say it a million times over. Like, a lot of people are like, oh yes, he does a pretty fashion frame, but me, I'm like, I just do fashion frame that makes me happy. You know, they could call, I get the joke, and everybody says, you should just call this 50 Shades of Grey. Well, guess what? There's only 2 shades of gray in this one, jerk face, and one is, no, that's actually gray. I was gonna say, it's like a dark muted blue, but no, it's actually gray. I take it back. So that's that, and there is actually something that you will find very interesting on this. Well, you might not find it very interesting, but I am using a different Syndana, and that's actually tying into the build. So let's jump into the very, very first one. As you guys know, I actually have on my Officium, I put the energy, the arcane energy, and that actually coincides with the first 2 builds that I want to show you guys. So the first 2, and I'm probably only going to feature like 2 of these builds when we jump into gameplay. I know, Rob's saying forever for gameplay, but this is going to be my resonance build. So this is what I like to use for resonance. I know a lot of people don't necessarily feel that stretch is necessary. However, I like it in there. You do as you wish. If you really are kind of like, if you don't want to give up some of your power, you can go ahead and toss in Transient Fortitude instead of Intensify. But I like getting a whole bunch of like different resonance holes on the enemy. I like stacking it a lot, so it's kind of like I like a little bit more of duration instead of having Transient Fortitude take it away. Now this is a very similar build. I believe that I just swapped out redirection and vitality and just tossed in a Prime Vigor and tossed in a Prime Flow in the extra spot and then tossed in Resonating Quake. I figure I don't necessarily want to give up all survivability, so that's why Prime Vigor is there. Resonating Quake, this is probably not the build that I'm going to display because legitimately you just for like, and then you run around, you collect shit, and you go, and then, you know, you can have conversations with your friends and whatnot. The last build, I gave in. I was like, let's just fucking try it. So I tried my hand on a, what is this? Savage Silence build, and I was playing it a lot last night. I'm actually considering taking out Cunning Drift and putting in Speed Drift. But this one I had a lot of fun with, and that is actually why you saw a completely different appearance set, is because on this one, so Banshee Prime Helmet is actually an arcane one. I've actually put the finisher, I actually stole it from Loki. I took his arcane finisher, or what is it called? Yeah, I'm gonna call it the arcane finisher one. I forgot what it's called. But the one that lets you do finishers, and then on this Arcane Telos, I also put that same finisher arcane. So that way, since she's going to be doing a lot of arcanes with, a lot of finishing with the Savage Silence build, that's kind of like the synergy that I did. So, I'm going to be honest with you, still not quite great with it, so you'll have to forgive me for the shitty play style that I'm going to try to do with it, but you know, we don't need a primary. Let's just jump into a mission real quick and kind of give you an idea how all of this works. So we're here at Oxomoko right now, and basically this is just the normal sonar build. This is basically just sonar resonance. There's nothing too crazy that I really have to say about it other than the fact that it does what it does, and you guys know what it does. And there's really, I really don't know what else to say about it. I mean, I think it's fantastic. This is what I would usually bring into, like, if we're planning on doing, like, long duration runs. This is usually what I like to bring. I don't really feel the need for, like, Prime Vigor or anything on this, just because the efficiency is so high. And I've gotten a lot of questions about why I tend to use high efficiency over high power pools before, and it's just because everything is worth a little bit more. Like, especially when you're using Xeneric, it's like every point counts for more in that. How am I going to do this? Oh, well, I know how to do this. That's a nice combination for the approach. Take down the big guys. Get your resonances out. Whoop. Do a little evasive maneuvering, especially when you got to do some reloads. But basically, all you're trying to do with this build is just cover everybody in your circles. Just get all your circles on there and make sure that they're just covered with them, and then just keep covering them with it. And that's pretty much it. I really like this one because the gameplay on it is really engaging, because you're like, I want to hit all of the circle spots. Now, of course, I'm doing live commentary, so my performance on this is probably not going to be as good as if I were just playing normally, just like shut my mouth and actually digging into play. Okay, tell me, I don't know if you guys have been noticing this, and I do believe that they're planning on doing some kinds of changes to these things, but I don't think it's been seen all the way through. But if you notice, I'm done with this exterminate, and there's still a good amount of enemies in here. And I know that they were saying that they were planning on doing some stuff with it for a while, kind of like make exterminates an escalating mission, which I'm very, very excited about. But I've fought through each of these missions, and I have not been able to notice any like extra enemies or any kind of like cool, I don't know, interesting higher like enemy bosses that are coming out of it or anything like that. So I don't know. Let me know if you guys have found anything interesting about it, because I love the thought of an escalating an escalating exterminate mission, because it means you don't have to defend anything, or you don't have to worry about remembering life support. I nearly died there. Those fucking lasers are the worst. Alright, so we are back in Oxomoko, and I'm going to go ahead and show you this Soundquake build. Alright, so as you can see, we're currently running the Savage Silence build, and this one is a whole lot of fun, and it has a lot of cool synergies in it as well, especially if you're using Rock the Dark Dagger and have the Syndicate mod on there, as well as 2 Arcane Trickeries, which will make you invisible, and now you can run into Nullifier Bubbles and do things like that, and not have them even see you. And that's kind of like what I think I ended up really liking about this build, is because when you combine all of the pieces together, kind of like I was saying with that weird, well, it's not weird, but that Necros build that uses the health conversion with the Shield of Shadows, and then you're also using Despoil on top of all of that, and you just become a really, really tanky, Necros. Well, in this case, you become a really invisible Banshee. And just as long as you can keep your energy pools up, which definitely helps when you're using Zeneric and you're using the Rock the Dark Dagger, along with the Rock the Dark Dagger, what do you call it, Syndicate mod? It helps a lot like that, and of course, you're going to want to be using Covert Lethality, because that's just a given. You don't use a single dagger with Covert Lethality, and then you get the one guy in the comments who says, well, I use it in this specific build. You clearly don't know what you're talking about. You know what? You can suck an egg. You can suck the vagina on Banshee's chest. That's what you can do with that attitude, young man. But no, I found this to be a very, very fun build to play. God damn it, it just ruins everything. No. Ha ha ha. Go invisible. Quickly, quickly. Come on, RNGesus. Make me safe. Make me safe. I guess not, but at least everything is dead, so it should be fine. You know, the only thing that really sucks about this build is at the very, very end, you just get a whole bunch of these gosh darn freaking drones just flying around, and you're like, come here. I need to hit you. Come here. Come back. Let me kill you. Alright, so that pretty much wraps up the 3 different playstyles that I've kind of used on Banshee. She has some really, really good augments, doesn't she? I mean, I didn't even use the Sonic Boom one, which strips armor, but those 3 are the ones that I prefer out of all of them. So you got to see the 3 different playstyles, you got to see the 2 different fashion framey ones. Let me know which one you prefer in the comments below. And you also got to take a look at the Euphona Prime and how it performs with, you know, as a full like burly crit, I'm gonna deal as much damage to you as possible mode, and the status version, which just slaps status left and right on your enemies. So let me know what you guys think, and as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch your body. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.